Good morning. I now call to order the Clackamas County Development Agency Budget Committee. Will the members of the committee please introduce themselves? Commissioner Scholl.
Good morning, Commissioner Mark Scholl.
I'm Chair Tootie Smith.
Martha Schrader, Clackamas County Commissioner.
Commissioner Paul Savas.
Will the Budget Committee members introduce themselves as well?
Good morning, Fred Charlton, citizen.
Sonia Fisher, Clackamas County Commissioner, working with TS just outside the door, so I will be listening.
Thank you.
Ed Cronky.
Jennifer Huang.
Thank you very much. I will now open the floor for nominations for chair.
Jennifer, can you take that one on for Blaine?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
I nominate Ed Gronke as chair of the 2022-2023 Clackamas County Development Agency.
Is your microphone on?
Yes.
Yeah, please speak into it and be loud. We can't hear you.
I nominate Ed Gronke as chair of the 2022-2023 Clackamas County Development Agency Budget Committee.
Second the motion.
Ed Gronke has been nominated as chair, and the motion has been seconded. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, Tony, would you please call the poll?
I will do it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Gronke?
I'm.
Commissioner Fisher?
She's
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Ms. Huang?
Oh, aye.
Okay. Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Mr. Turleton?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
And Chair Smith?
Aye, motion passes 8-0. I will now turn this over to the new chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll entertain a nomination for Vice Chair.
I nominate Fred as vice chair of the Development Agency Budget Committee for the 2022-2023 budget.
I second the nomination. Will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Ms. Huang?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Mr. Charlton?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye.
And Chair Gronke?
Aye. I'll now call for nominations for Secretary.
I nominate Jennifer Wong as secretary of the Development Agency Budget Committee for the 2022-2023 budget.
I'll second the nomination. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Ms. Huang?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Mr. Charlton?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye.
And Chair Gronke?
Aye. I'll now ask David Queener, Program Supervisor of the Development Agency, to present the 2022-23 budget.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here today. Pleased to present our budget for this next fiscal year.
Would you like the PowerPoint? 1 second, please.
There we go.
Oops. Sorry, 1 sec. There we go.
Good. Okay. So with the development agency, we have three urban renewal districts that we manage. That includes the Clackamas Town Center area, the Clackamas Industrial area, and the North Clackamas Revitalization area. In the past year in the Clackamas Town Center, we've been busy completing a big project out there. It's a $23.4 million $23.4 million regional center improvement project. That project made significant improvements from 82nd Avenue on Sunnyside Road all the way out to 101st Avenue, including a major widening of the overpass at I-205. And that just finished up and significantly increases circulation through there and improves mobility for all modes of travel there. The industrial area, we've been busy working on a drainage improvement project down off of Highway 224. There's been some flooding issues down there in industrial buildings and whatnot, so we're down there trying to fix that flooding issue to make sure that those businesses can operate efficiently in that area. A bulk of our work this last year has been in the North Clackamas revitalization area. We just finished up a new road project over in the Fuller Station area, which is helping to facilitate new redevelopment for that station area. That currently there's a large affordable housing that is under construction there as well. That's benefiting as well from that development. We're also finishing up design on our Linwood project, which is making road improvements from Monroe Street all the way north to Johnson Creek Boulevard, and also began design on the Monroe Street Improvement Project, which is improvements from Linwood all the way east to Fuller Road. In addition, we have several programs in that revitalization area that helps to stabilize housing out there in the form of grants and loans and whatnot to help with the housing out in that area. Our performance measures, we focus on trying to allocate as much funds towards capital improvements as possible. We always budget or target 85% for our districts. We typically exceed those numbers. We like to stay lean in our expenses and really focus it on the sticks and bricks, like we like to say. As you would note there, for 2023 in the town center area, it is a low number this year, and that's because we've pretty much expended most of our available funds out there on that major road project that I had mentioned. So we don't have a lot to allocate towards capital improvements in that district this fiscal year. And as I had mentioned, we also have the programs out in the revitalization area in North Clackamas that we continue to focus on promoting those programs to those eligible applicants. Our total budget for this year is $36,433,692. There are zero general funds allocated to our urban renewal districts and to the development agency. A majority of our revenues are what we already have cash on hand. We also have some revenue that we'll be bringing in this coming year in the form of a bond sale for $12 million. And we do have property taxes, but just in our North Clackamas revitalization area. We don't collect any taxes in the other districts as those levies have been retired. Our expenses, again, capital outlay to projects. This year we also have quite a bit in contingency and in reserve, and that is as a result of the bond funds that are coming in. We'll have the full amount coming in, and then we'll start spending that on projects in the coming years. We have 4 different funds that comprise our budget. We have a debt service fund in the North Clackamas revitalization area. The total budget for that fund this year is $19,392,000. Our operating fund for that same district is $9,186,681. The town center operating fund budget is $1,873,562. And finally, the Clackamas industrial area budget for this year is $6,373,057. For our debt service fund, for 22-23 for the NCRA, as you see there, revenues of $12 million coming from the bond sale, cash on hand with our beginning fund balance of $3.2 million and at about approximately $3.7 million budgeted for property tax revenues coming in. And on the expense side for this district, we have the debt service at $2.65 million. We will be transferring funds over into our operating fund of $6 million in the coming year, and the remainder remaining in reserve and contingency for future projects. For the operating fund, you'll see the $2.98 million beginning fund balance. We have the $6 million coming in from our transfer from the other district or the other fund. Our other revenue sources that you see there, that is a property sale that we're anticipating out in that district, and interest that we have coming in. The $50,000 in the revenue as well for this district is reimbursement for time spent in other departments. We get reimbursed back for that time spent when we're working for other divisions and departments. Capital outlay for this district is $6.78 million. Again, those are the projects that I'd mentioned. We're going to begin construction on the Linwood Avenue project this coming year, and acquiring right-of-way and whatnot. So we'll start spending those revenues that we get in from the bond quite quickly on projects. Clackamas Town Center, one thing I just want to point out here on fiscal year 1920 and fiscal year 2021, you'll see some pretty large numbers there. And the reason why that shows up the way it is we closed our debt service fund for the town center at that period of time, and they needed to allocate when we closed that fund. So this is combining the 350 fund and the 450 fund into one, and I just wanted to make sure we point that out. For the 22-23 budget for this year, the $294,000 you see in the revenue, that is some revenue we're bringing in from the lighting district. There's funds available for capital projects, so that's helping us offset costs for lighting for the town center projects that we've been doing. And the $885,000, a significant portion of that is a property sale that we're anticipating closing on in this next fiscal year. As you see, the very little capital outlay there this year. What we're wanting to do is to be able to bring that revenue in and save the money for a future project. And that hopefully would be the phase 2 project of our CRC mobility project that we just completed. And there's some other improvements we want to do. So until we sell properties that we are actively marketing out there, we have limited ability to do some construction out there at this point. So. And finally, the Clackamas Industrial Area project, or district, I'm sorry, $6.2 million out there. As I mentioned, we've got just one capital project going out there as far as improvements, but we also are acquiring property on a willing buyer, willing seller basis in the sunrise alignment. So when those opportunities arise, that we would certainly like to make those purchases for future right-of-way for the sunrise. And that's the good portion of the $3.165 million that you see in the capital outlay there. And we also have money in reserve for future expenditures as well out there. So significant issues out there. Of course, the big one for us is the bond, and our plan to issue the $12 million bond. That will go towards several projects, construction, design, right-of-way. We anticipate being able to expend those bond revenues quite quickly, as we'll have projects ready to go for construction. And then, as I'd mentioned, the town center area, until we sell the properties out there, we do have limited ability to do a whole lot out there at this point. And with that, ends my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Chair Gromke.
I'll open the public comment period first. If there's anyone in the room who wishes to testify on this budget, please identify yourself.
I'm sorry, Chair Gronke, I apologize. First, would you ask for questions from the committee, and then is public comment? If your script is incorrect, I apologize. I can't tell the script here, so we'll start. Please start with questions from the committee, Chair.
The script is correct.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair Gromke. Appreciate you being here today and leading us through this. I have a couple questions for Dave. What percent of how much is the percentage of your reserves set aside in this entire development agency?
For the entire development agency, I believe, let me check here. I believe it's 27% is reserved for future expenditures.
Okay, that's pretty good. Talk to me about your bond sale. Have you targeted a certain area that those bond proceeds would be used for, and how are you going to make the payments on the bond sale?
So with the bond sale, all the bond revenue is for the North Clackamas revitalization area. So all of the funds will be expended within that district. And we have to do an analysis prior to going out to that bond to ensure that we have the ability to pay that bond back. And we completed that analysis, and it's based on what our maximum indebtedness is out in the area and how much we can still collect. And that is roughly about $72 million is what our ability to, as far as revenue coming into the district, until we hit our maximum indebtedness.
Is that a policy decision that becomes before the BCC?
As far as, yes.
So you don't know for sure if you're going to go to a bond sale yet?
Correct. I mean, that's our intent, is to go out for a bond. But yes, that's something that you would have to approve that.
And when do you anticipate bringing that forward?
We anticipate here shortly after our budget season, because they're quite busy, to start. So in the next probably 2 months that we begin that process.
I imagine one of the questions that we'll be asking you at that time, are you cognizant of rising interest rates?
Definitely so.
Okay. And you can imagine all the questions, I'm sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair Gromke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Anyone else on the commission have any questions?
Yeah, I do, Chair Gronke. I'm looking at in the NCRA, what page is it here, where the Fuller Road Station is area, that portion. Do we own the property that was once Miles Fiberglass?
We do.
That's the agency owns it?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the plans for that property?
The plan is definitely to make that available for redevelopment. Right now, we're securing it, obviously, just to make sure that we don't have any issues out there, but we definitely are going to be marketing that aggressively. We do have a lot of interest in it because of its proximity, but nothing has come to fruition so far. It's just been a lot of inquiry for redevelopment. We definitely would like to see that redeveloped.
Yeah, I would certainly would look forward to any kind of discussion about the projects that are, number one, foreseen, and the ones that are actually in the budget today. So are those road projects? There's not much definition.
As far as the improvements that we've done out there?
Well, the ones that are planned on Lynn and others, are those road and drainage or just drainage?
No, it's road and drainage. So there's out in that district, there's a lack of both of those is drainage, sidewalks, lighting. There's a significant issue out there. So these projects address all of those things on those road projects.
Okay. And my recollection was that the purpose for this particular district had a pretty big emphasis on wastewater connections because it was a lot of septic systems. Has that pretty well been addressed within the boundaries of the district completely?
We've done quite a bit out there. That was kind of one of the first things we did for that district is the sewer improvements out there, and still have that ability to. We have hookup grants for those who still have not connected to the sewer system to make it more viable for them to be able to do so through a grant program.
So it's safe to assume that where we're doing these road improvements and the drainage improvements that those properties have been sewered?
Either if they haven't been sewered yet, if there's a circumstance where maybe they aren't, we would put a stub out to that property line and have it available to them when they choose to connect. I mean, we can't force them to connect, but we can make it available to them to connect so that in the future, we're not tearing up the road if they decide to connect.
That's where I'm going. I
Yes.
would hate to see that much money being spent and have the road torn back up after spending all that
Absolutely.
money on it. So, all right. Yeah, I really think it'd be in order on behalf of the district to have some kind of discussion with the board in the future as to projects that, again, are happening, that are going to happen, that are in the budget for this year, this fiscal year forward, and then what we foresee. We haven't had that discussion in a long time.
Yeah, we'd be happy to come and give you an update on all those projects and what's entailed with those projects and what we're doing moving forward.
Right. And so is getting to the CIA district, is that, when do we foresee seeing that in the horizon, those revenues being depleted? Oh, they're not really revenues, they're
The-
resources being depleted.
Right. And we certainly would like to get that district finished up. We're not collecting any more revenue out there. There are some projects that we can do, but I know that the Sunrise is also very important, so we are making sure that we have some resources available where we can facilitate those acquisitions. And the sooner we can do that, the better, but we are in a willing buyer, willing seller kind of situation right now, so.
Okay. Last question is a development agency active at the table for the Sunrise Gateway implementation team?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm part of that group.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Any other questions from the commission?
Chair Gronke, I have a question. On the North Clackamas revitalization area, the two parks, are they funded?
The two parks?
The two parks?
Yes, yes, we do have funding set aside for those parks, if you're talking about Johnson Creek Park. And,
Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We'll then open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to testify on this budget? If not, is there anyone online who wishes to give testimony at this point?
Tony?
Chair Gronke, at present, there is no one pre-registered. If anyone would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature. Chair Gronke, I do not have any hands raised.
Thank you very much. If there are no other public comments, I'll close the public comment portion of the hearing. And are there any questions from any members of the committee? Hearing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I move that the committee approve the 2022-2023 budget in the amount of $36,433,692 for the Clackamas County Development Agency as presented, inclusive of the Clackamas Town Center, Clackamas Industrial Area, and North Clackamas Revitalization Area.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that the budget as presented be approved. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Ms. Huang?
Aye.
Commissioner Scholl?
Aye.
Mr. Charlton?
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader?
Aye.
Chair Smith?
Aye.
Chair Gronke?
Aye. There being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned.